So in the process of gathering all these unbelievable testimonials and reviews from my clients and from my fans who have tried the detox guide that I put out, seeing all their amazing results and hearing their life-changing stories made me realize, holy shit, I haven't said my story. I haven't told my review. And I think it's about time that I share that. So, here we go. For those of you who don't know, I did design this detox over 2 years ago, and I designed it for myself. I wasn't intending on turning it into a meal guide or selling it. I created this plan for myself for my own health reasons. At the time, I was going through a lot of health issues. I was not healthy in any way. Mentally, physically, emotionally, I was just so sick. And I didn't even really realize how sick I was up until really recently when I looked at side-by-sides and it really hit me for the first time. I was so close to death. I was so close to losing everything. I didn't realize that I had become so comfortable with feeling so horrible for so long. It had become very normal. I forgot what it felt like to feel good, and I just very much accepted the current state that my body was in, that my mind was in, and I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. And when you do that for so long, it's easy to accept insanity, you know? But basically, it all happened after my second US tour. Well, actually, it happened during that tour. I was so unhealthy. The lifestyle in itself is very hectic, is very rough on an artist's body. Unless you have all the proper structures set up, it's very hard to maintain your health on tour. So for me, no one was helping me. I didn't have a dietitian, I didn't have a trainer, I didn't have anyone on tour helping me, I didn't have anyone making my food, I didn't have anyone getting my food. So I was living off of macaroni and cheese cups and sleeping pills because I have really bad insomnia. And on tour, being on a bus, performing every single night, driving all day, it took a crazy toll on my body. So I was eating like shit. I was taking all these prescription medications for all these ailments, not realizing that the prescriptions themselves were causing more problems. I was so toxic. I was so sick. My body was at the point where it was close to giving out. And a few times on tour, we had medics on standby because we didn't know if my heart was going to stop or I was just going to collapse, or it was awful. And what's crazy, because going back and looking at photos and videos, I can really see how sick I was. And the color of my skin had the green tint to it. I was puffy in my face. I was, like 30 pounds overweight, and I thought I looked good. I was so sick. I was so sick. And I felt sick all the time. And not only was it that physical just feeling of having like I had the flu all the time, it made my depression so much worse. It made me want to isolate. It made my anxiety so bad that I didn't want to be around anyone. And I had to be on stage every night in front of thousands. It was the worst time. So right after that tour ended, things just kept getting worse. The accumulation of toxins, it was unbelievable. So not only was I eating terribly, I was eating Taco Bell, snacks all the time. So bad, so good, but so bad. I was taking prescription medications. I was not taking care of myself. I was not exercising. I wasn't doing anything good for my body. And it got to the point where I was having so many symptoms. But I mean, I felt not good most of my life, so I didn't feel like I was putting up with anything that crazy. But it got to the point where everything started to get so much worse. And I have problems with my stomach and my digestion and my metabolism and autoimmune diseases, and all of a sudden everything was getting so much worse to the point where I thought I was actually going to die. So I started seeing doctors, and like the general doctors would say, you should be hooked up to an IV, you need to be in the hospital, you need this, and this medication, this, and I'm like, I'm not going on more medication, I'm not doing more of this. This is the reason that I'm here in the first place, because they couldn't tell me what was wrong. They said I had all these problems, but they couldn't give me the main reason that I had all of these problems or how to really fix it. They were telling me how to almost put up with it and how to medicate. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I went to a holistic doctor, and he ran some tests, and he did my toxicity levels. And on the toxic scale, it's from 1 to 21. You should be under 3 no matter what. On a scale of 1 to 21, I was at 20. I was close to being septic. I was close to death. And even the holistic doctor, he didn't know what to tell me. He couldn't tell me how to fix it. He recommended a bunch of things that were holistic, but he said, you can manage all these issues. I don't know if it's going to go away. You should be in a hospital. And I didn't like that answer either. So what happened next came very naturally to me. And the most shocking part is why I didn't come up with this sooner. What changed everything first is I read this book about fasting and how it helps with toxicity and so many health issues. And I was reading this book and it made so much sense. And then I realized, why does this sound so familiar? And in a sense, the practices that were being described were the same practices I had grown up with my whole life. I watched my mom do all these things. My sister was diagnosed with cancer when she was 3. She was given 6 months to live, if that. My mom is a very holistic person. She likes natural things. She believes that food is medicine. She doesn't believe in taking medicine. She won't even take Advil. So when my sister was on chemo and going through dialysis and having to take all these absolute poisons every single day, my mom found a way to counteract all the bad. My mom would put my sister on these detoxes, which involved no medication, just really, really good, healthy food. And because of how my mom was treating my sister and helping to heal my sister's body, my sister lived for 18 years. That wouldn't have happened otherwise. So I took the practices from my mom, I took the new things that I learned from these books, and I developed this guide for myself. And I did this guide for 40 days. What happened afterwards changed everything. If I wouldn't have done this detox, I wouldn't be here right now. I know that sounds dramatic. And I bet most of you are thinking, yeah, it wasn't that big a deal though, because you looked fine before. I don't think anyone realizes how well I hid. I would never show how I actually looked. I would never do full body. It would always be from certain angles. Everything would be edited. If you notice back then, I never posted a video unless it had a Snapchat filter on it. I never showed how I truly looked, and I didn't realize I wasn't only trying to play off how I looked to everyone else, I was trying to play it off to myself, because I never even truly realized how bad my health was, how bad my appearance was, how bad everything was. I never truly realized, or else I would have done something to fix this a long time ago. So here are my before and afters. I have never posted anything like this. I've never posted the bad, like a disgusting bad photo of myself that I haven't like face-tuned to all fuck. Like, this is how I really looked. This is my body before. This is my body toxic. This is how I looked at my worst before I changed everything. This was my body. At my heaviest, I weighed in at about 180 pounds. I couldn't stand to look in the mirror, and I wouldn't look in the mirror. The only time I would take photos is when I had to, and it would be with the Snapchat filter. It would be edited. It would be only from certain angles because I couldn't bear to look at myself. That's how much I hated myself then. The reason that I want to do this video is to show you that you can change. If you're not happy, if you're not healthy, you can change, and it's so much easier than what you think. Not only did my outsides change, not only do I feel more beautiful and more healthy and more vibrant and more alive, my mind is no longer in that terrible dark place. I didn't realize how big of an effect toxicity and all these poisons being in your body, how much that can affect you mentally. I've had depression all my life, since I was 6 years old. I know it's never going to go away, but if there's a way to make it a little bit better, believe me, I'm going to do it. And I found it. I'm never going to go back to who I was. can't, you know. I want to be here for a lot more years. And because of these practices, because of this simple guide, I'm going to be here. And I'm going to be healthy, and I'm going to be happy. These are my before and afters. This is my story. I hope this helps someone.